Okay, well, I better start learning how to talk fast or something so my YouTube videos don't get longer than 15 minutes, but there is something I like to talk about. It is a pet peeve of mine, which is, I think it's a common pet peeve for a lot of people, probably most people out there, is when people are bad listeners. And what I mean by a bad listener, I'm not meaning that someone who's hard of hearing. I'm not talking about people who can't help it because they actually have issues with their ears and they have to wear hearing aids, or they have a disability that makes it hard for them to be able to hear others and understand others. But I'm talking about just regular people who just don't listen. It's like you could tell them right to their face. And it's like I said, I'm not talking about like strangers. I don't expect a stranger to listen to me or anything like that, but people I care about in my everyday life, family and friends, and I'll tell them something right to their face, and they say they'll do it, and then they turn around and they do the opposite. They just blatantly don't even listen to me, and that's one of my pet peeves, and that's another reason why a lot of relationships and family situations in my life have failed, because of poor listeners. And people say that I'm controlling and I'm bossy and I'm this and that, but the thing of it is that I'm not really that bossy. And I really don't even ask for that much from people. But when I need someone to listen to me, it's usually something that is important. It usually is something that is that meaningful and important. If something was not that important to me, then I wouldn't trouble anybody with it. I wouldn't trouble anyone with the issue. I would just let it go. But when an issue is a big time issue, and I tell somebody about it, someone that's supposed to be my friends, my family, my shipmates, whatever they want to call themselves to me, but they blatantly go against what I have to say, then that's when I tend to have relationship problems. That's when I tend to fight and argue with people. I don't like to fight and argue with people, but it's just a very severe pet peeve of mine when people fail to listen. And, then I tell people when you're just being they're being bossy, you're being controlling, and I explain to people, when I want them to listen, it's something that can be easily taken care of. And once they take care of that problem, it's no longer there. Then we all can go on with our lives happy and merry. But people just don't want to listen. So that's one pet peeve of mine that I have. I should make a playlist called My Pet Peeves. That's one of my pet peeves. That's one of my top pet peeves I have, is terrible listeners. And oh yeah, it's something that gets under my skin, and I have a few people in my life that don't listen to anything I have to say. I could tell them something right to their face. The worst thing is they actually say they're going to listen and they're going to do it, and they don't do it. It's like, not only do they not listen to me, but they completely defy against me by saying that they're going to listen to me, but then they totally go against what I tell them. So, I guess in a way they're also lying, which is another pet peeve of mine, but I'll talk about lying in another video. But this is why relationships go sour. This is why relationships break off. This is why I don't get along with certain people. And then they wonder why I ignore them. They wonder why I don't talk to them and I don't really spend time with them anymore. Then they want to cry and whine, and then they want to listen to me. They want to hear from me. They want me to explain why I ignore them, why I don't really make an effort to really hang out with them anymore. And then I just turn around and I just kind of get a little attitude with them, like, now you want to listen to me? Now you want to listen to me? Now, after the relationship goes south, now you want to listen to me? Then I just feel like telling them, how stupid and retarded can you be? But I know it's not really nice to say those things, but that's basically what sometimes I end up saying that, like, how stupid and retarded are you? Or something. I mean, and I know they're not really stupid and retarded anyways, but I just say, why do you act like that? Why do you act so stupid and retarded when you're not? Why didn't you listen to me when you had the chance to? And now, after the relationship goes south, now you want to hear my opinion. It's like, what kind of a fool are you? So people who don't listen are probably some of the most, they're probably the biggest fools out there. It's like, they only want to listen when it means something to them. Or when they're going to lose a relationship because they realize that because they didn't listen to someone, that person's mad at them. And they are considering breaking off the relationship. So my question is, to all you bad listeners out there, why, if you care about someone and you really care about the relationship, then why don't you listen to that person in the first place? Why do you wait for things to go south? Why do you wait for the relationship to pretty much be damaged and broken off? Why didn't you listen in the first place? And you could have fixed the problem a long time ago, and it would be all good after that. It would have been all good. You terrible listeners never cease to amaze me. Now, I'm not saying this to everyone. Not everyone's a terrible listener, but for those that are terrible listeners, do you really care about the relationships in your life, the family members in your life, your shipmates, your comrades, whatever you call people in your life that you care about? Do you really care about them? Then why don't you listen to them? Now, I can understand if they're asking you to do something completely ridiculous and completely against your beliefs, but it was something simple, like a problem that can be fixed. Like, for example, say if they have a serious allergic reaction to something, and they ask you to, it's something that's not even really that meaningful. They ask you to get rid of it because they can't come over to your house because this thing is causing you problems. It's causing them problems, and you want that person to come over, but you refuse to get rid of that thing. You feed the person the very thing that hurts them. So, how can you expect that person to continue to be your friend or your family member and want to come over to your house after that? It doesn't work like that. So, that's one of my pet peeves, people who don't listen. And I've known many people like that. It's like, and then when something goes wrong and I decide I don't want to have anything to do with them, then they want to whine and cry and they wonder why I have an attitude toward them, or I don't want to listen to them, and then I just turn around and say, see how it feels? I want you to know how my pet peeve feels. So, people, if you really care, then just listen. And if it's something that can be fixed, then just do it. And that's all you gotta do. But if you're going to continue to be a terrible listener, then in the future you're going to wonder why you lose out on relationships. You lose out on people who try to care about you. So, there you have it, folks. There's one of my pet peeves for you. People who are terrible listeners. So, be sure to listen up.